So Marjorie Taylor Greene just admitted live on camera that everything in the MAGA world is, well, it's a total mess. In this really rare moment of what felt like honesty or maybe just desperation, she confessed that the backlash she's getting from her own voters has been pretty big. It's like we're seeing this massive, massive crack forming in the whole foundation of that movement. She revealed that the base is in basically open revolt because the administration told everyone to just move on from the whole Jeffrey Epstein scandal. I mean, this goes way beyond a simple disagreement. This is a direct rebellion against an order from the very top, and it's all just happening right out in the open for everyone to see. Hey guys, before we break down every single moment of this unbelievable situation, please do me a quick favor and hit that like and subscribe button. You are definitely going to want to follow our coverage as this whole MAGA meltdown keeps unfolding. Thanks. I really appreciate you guys watching. Okay, so the whole thing started when a reporter asked her a pretty simple question. He pointed out that the administration said it's time to stop wasting energy on the Epstein files. And he asked her, point blank, if she agreed with her party's leadership that it was time to move on. And instead of just falling in line like she usually does, you know, she openly defied them.
Okay. The president said over the weekend about the Epstein files, it's time to move on, not wasting time and energy over it. You've been pretty vocal about this. Do you agree with them? It's time to move on.
You know, I think it's just a red line that it crosses for many people. Jeffrey Epstein is literally the most well-known convicted pedophile in modern day history, being convicted years ago for procuring a child for prostitution, as well as other charges. And this is something that's been talked about by many people serving in the administration, myself, and many others on the right and the left, of there needing to be transparency of the rich and powerful elites that were in his circle while he was just one of the worst serial abusers of young women. And I really think people deserve transparency on that. And it's not wrong to continue to push for it and ask for it.
Not wrong to push for it. Just let that sink in for a second. This is coming from the same person who has for years provided cover for every single corrupt thing her party has done. You have to understand, she isn't suddenly seeing the light here. This is a sign of some serious, serious panic happening inside the MAGA movement. Then, and this is just pure, shameless gaslighting. She immediately tries to muddy the waters with maybe the most insane comparison I've heard all week. She brings up, of all people, the disgraced liar George Santos to complain about, well, you just have to hear this nonsense for yourself. Here is what this supposed champion of justice actually said about a serial grifter who's, facing real consequences.
And I'll say this, I mean, here we are at a time where we're going to see George Santos go to jail for 7 years, which I personally think is outrageous. I think that is a tremendously long amount of time for what he was convicted for.
Can you believe the nerve? A con artist who built his entire life on fraud. Him getting 7 years is outrageous. But a monster who abused countless girls getting, 13 months with work release? That's just something for a polite inquiry. This is the warped moral universe these people operate in. Their political allies are always the victims, and justice is just, it's a weapon to use against their enemies. And then she whines about the corruption and power that allows this to happen, just completely ignoring that she's a central figure in that exact system of corruption. Of course, when the interviewer actually brings up facts, like the Justice Department officially stating there was no client list and that Epstein wasn't murdered, she just folds like a cheap suit. Suddenly, the tough-talking firebrand who demands all these answers has absolutely nothing to say. Listen to this pathetic dodge. It's the classic move of a gaslighter who gets backed into a corner.
Do you think that, the Justice Department said that there was no client list and he was not murdered. Do you buy that?
Well, no, I haven't reviewed this information, so I don't have an informed viewpoint. I just believe that it's not wrong for people to continue to want more information.
She has no informed viewpoint. Oh, give me a break. She has a viewpoint on everything all the time. But the second a fact gets in the room that complicates her story, she just cowers and pretends to be some responsible legislator who's just seeking knowledge. But then the reporter asks the $1 million question. The one that gets to the real reason she's even doing this media hit in the first place. He asks how big the blowback is right now in her world. And here she stops being a performer for a second and gets shockingly honest. She admits just how bad the chaos has gotten inside their movement.
How big of a blowback is there right now in MAGA world specifically?
It's pretty big, I have to be honest. I'm always honest about what's going on. And yeah, this one has been pretty big. It started with bombing Iran, but that settled down quickly.
Pretty big. I mean, that's a sign of a complete meltdown for a political group that demands absolute, unquestioning loyalty. The fact that she is admitting this on camera, it tells you everything you need to know about how chaotic things are behind the scenes. And the Epstein situation isn't even the only thing. She then reveals that the MAGA base is also furious about the continued U.S. involvement in the Ukraine war. That's another issue where the administration seems to be totally ignoring its own supporters. She lays out this 1-2 punch that's hammering the MAGA faithful right now, and you can just hear the frustration in her voice.
That this Epstein situation has been significant, and now it's continuing with weapons being sold to NATO. Ukraine is not a part of NATO, and people are just very much against any U.S.
So the base feels betrayed on two different fronts. They think the administration is protecting powerful elites, and they also see it continuing a foreign policy they were promised would end. This is a massive, massive breach of trust with the very people at the core of their political power. This entire interview is a public warning shot. She makes that perfectly clear. She says the president should be aware of this, which is just, that's polite Washington. Speak for, you are losing your base and I am putting you on notice live on camera. Then she tries to wrap this blatant act of political pressure in the flag of, civic duty, pretending she's just a humble servant of the people. This is her trying to create cover for her rebellion, acting like she isn't a power player herself, just a simple messenger. You have to listen to this phony performance. It's absolutely shameless.
The president should be aware of this.
Oh, of course, and I've let him know myself as well as many people in the administration. I think it's important for me to communicate with the administration and with the president, so that I'm a representative. That's my job title, to represent the people in my district, and I always try to convey back, this is how people feel. This is how.
Give me a break. You're a representative who tries to convey back how people feel. This woman is a professional rage baiter. She helps create the very anger she now pretends to just be a passive vessel for. Then, it's like she realizes she's exposed too much. She must have seen the look on her own face because she makes the most awkward and clumsy pivot you could possibly imagine. She just abruptly declares that she is in mom mode. It's this desperate attempt to sound relatable, like a parent instead of the political fanatic she really is. I am not joking. This is literally how she tried to deflect from the whole MAGA movement cracking up.
I think, look, I'll be real honest with you. My kids are 22, 25, and 27. I am straight up in mom mode, and I think that's a serious mode for someone like me to be in.
Mom mode. She really thinks saying that makes her sound serious? It just makes her sound like a confused politician who knows she revealed way too much and is now just fumbling for an escape hatch. So from this new, completely phony persona, she starts rattling off this whole laundry list of real problems facing Americans. It's a classic desperate attempt to find some common ground after admitting her own political movement is in open revolt. She talked about unaffordable housing, the high cost of living, crippling insurance bills. It is a truly stunning performance of hypocrisy from a member of the party that has actively voted against every single policy that would actually help with those issues. Listen to this word salad as she tries to sound like a populist hero, as if she and her party aren't directly responsible for the pain she's describing.
People today can't afford housing, they can't afford rent. Insurance is ridiculously unaffordable in every category. People's bills are piled up and the cost of living hasn't gone down, and credit card debt is an all-time high. We have people dying of drugs on our streets, and mental illness is out of control. To me, those are the problems that we should be focused on, and that's the most important thing we can do.
Okay, appreciate the time. Thanks.
Let's just be direct about what is happening here, because it's a deliberate deception. You think she's saying this because she suddenly developed a conscience about your rent? No. She's saying it to redirect all that anger over Epstein in Ukraine away from the administration and toward this generic sense of economic anxiety. It's a masterclass in political distraction, except it's so clumsy and obvious that it fails completely. She's trying to change the channel from "my party is in chaos" to "gosh, isn't inflation terrible," hoping nobody notices the sleight of hand. So don't be fooled by that head fake toward the end. This entire public display was about one thing: damage control. Damage control for a MAGA base that is finally realizing it's been taken for a ride by a bunch of liars and con artists. The big takeaway here is that the foundation of this whole thing is cracking. When Marjorie Taylor Greene, of all people, is publicly admitting to pretty big blowback and defying the administration, you know there is serious trouble in paradise. This whole interview was just a desperate tightrope walk. She had to acknowledge her voters' fury over the Epstein situation and the Ukraine war, while at the same time trying to redirect that anger away from the powerful people in charge. This is what happens. It's the inevitable outcome of a political movement built entirely on conspiracy theories and the worship of one fragile narcissist. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this the beginning of the end for MAGA unity, or, I don't know, just another temporary tantrum? Make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss what happens next. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next MAGA drama. Thanks, and bye.